We left off with our heroes having just saved the Circle Tower, despite the best efforts of the Templars to slaughter indiscriminately. Irving is so grateful that, even without any prompting, he offers to send mages to help against the Blight. So, that's one down. Good. Even with the Sloth Demon, this was a lot easier than that mess in Red... Oh, crap. Yeah, I had the feeling there was something else we were supposed to do while we were here.
The child is possessed. But killing the demon would mean killing the... Unless you intend to enter the Fade.
Hey, I'm hoping maybe I can turn into a rock monster next time I'm in there. Irving agrees to bring mages and help with the ritual for Connor, so we soon meet up at the castle for the big to-do.
Ah, there you are. We have brought lyrium and begun preparations for the ritual.
Good, good. You do know Jowan's standing on a man's skeleton, right? Because the way I see it, battling a demon is going to be difficult enough without angering the dead by walking on their bodies. Okay, let's go face a demon.
It will likely engage you in dialogue and tempt you with an offer. Avoid it. Making deals with demons never turns out well.
I wouldn't have survived my harrowing if it wasn't for deals with demons, but it's fine. Let's do this. Inside the phase, the same old, except this area is controlled by the demon within Connor, so both Arl Eamon and the boy are images within. But it doesn't take much navigating to finally corner the demon, and the first enchanter was right. This is a desire demon, preying on Connor's wish for his father to recover. After a few confrontations, the demon stops with the deceptions and is straight with me, reminding me they can offer many things I desire. You know, because it's called a desire demon. All I really want to do is finish this quest and get to work on kicking Loghain into a pit full of darkspawn. Well, it makes me an offer.
I abandoned the boy, for now. But I retained the contract he and I made, and many years from now, I may return and claim what is mine. This will be long after whatever you want is done. In exchange, I will provide something of value to you.
Yeah, well, that might have worked if you'd suggested that when I first arrived in Redcliffe, but since then I've wiped out your army of the dead, cleansed the Tower of Horrors, and killed a demon way more powerful than you in the heart of his own realm. So here's my counteroffer. You leave. You don't ever come back. And you give me something to make up for all the bullshit I've had to wade through to get here.
I see. Name your price, then.
Damn, she actually agreed? And the demons are more reasonable than a lot of the people I run into. Controversial though it is, I asked to begin to understand blood magic, but only because so many of our enemies have been using it. I believe we have to be able to fight fire with fire. As in, if the enemy uses fire, you respond with fire. I don't mean that you deal with a burning building by throwing Molotov cocktails at it. So, the demon has been vanquished, and the survivors are free to give their people a burial at sea. Once they get Jowan to stop standing on their remains, of course. Speaking of which, the question that Tegan brings up is what to do with Jowan now. Poisoning the Arl is a pretty serious offense. You normally don't get community service for that.
What do you think? You are a mage, and you know his faults better than anyone.
That's true. All right. Pull up a chair. This is going to take a while. He's going to get locked up until the Arl awakens and decides what to do with him. Speaking of which, it's high time we do something for Rip Van Winkle, and the suggestion is again mentioned of the Urn of Sacred Ashes. It seems the Arl was supporting a brother Genitivi in researching them, so we've got some leads here. We should talk to him about it, but it's in Denerim, see, and that's the capital of Ferelden. That's going to be kind of awkward, isn't it? But you know what? Let's not worry about that. For once, there is no immediate threat. The Arl is stable. The demon is gone. The Circle Tower is safe and rebuilding. Everyone is happy with what I've done. I mean, let's just take a moment to enjoy that, huh?
Sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows, everything that's
If it isn't the hero of the day, what can I get you?
Then, thank you. Father always said to remember to thank people who do nice things for you.
My Helena returned. She told me of your daring rescue. I can't begin to tell you how grateful I am. Take this. A reward for your deed.
I just wanted to thank you. You went out of your way to save the Isle's family, and you did it. Even though it would have been easier not to.
The Darkspawn have attacked Lothering. I don't think everyone even had fled by the time they came, either. Word has it they swarmed the entire area, making off with prisoners and burning down the buildings. And then they were gone. Just as quick. Are you sure I can't interest you in this hat?
So we head on to Denerim, but sadly our arrival does not go unnoticed. Sir Landry spots Tim in the market, near the vendor who's peddling fine dwarven crap.
Fine dwarven crap. I recognize you. From Ostagar. And trust this blood. You're a Grey Warden. Duncan's apprentice. You killed my friend.
Unless your friend was a Darkspawn, you've got the wrong guy. Landry is furious, but not unreasonable. He sees the point that Grey Wardens aiding the Darkspawn's cause is ridiculous, and he backs down at least for the moment. But I better get this done with before someone else spots me. Or even worse, starts explaining in extreme detail why the term Darkspawn is offensive because it's an anagram of Sparkwand, which is a euphemism in Farsi for an uncircumcised penis. Sorry, that news about Lothering just shat on my good day. Anyway, let's go check in with Waylon, Genetivi's assistant.
This search is a curse on all of us. Some things are not meant to be found. I know that now.
Based on what? If it was roaming through the village devouring the souls of fleeing mobs, yeah, you could probably break out that speech, buddy, but a guy getting lost doesn't mean forces of destiny have cursed him. He might have dropped his map or something, got his shoelace tangled in something. You don't know.
I don't know. All I discovered from going through his research was that he was staying at the inn. Yes, of course he told me, but I also went through his things to see if I could find other clues to his whereabouts.
I'm gonna find him tied up in the cellar wearing a gimp costume, aren't I?
Andraste, forgive me, I do this in your name.
Huh? Dude, we have you outnumbered 4-1 here. I'm a little confused that this guy is less intimidated by me with backup than a frickin' demon was when I was all by myself. The weird part is that he unleashes lightning on us after he announces that he's doing it for Andraste, which, again, the whole mage-chantry relationship there. That's like the Pope declaring scissoring is a new sacrament. We make short work of him and find the real Waylon in the back. Dead. Shows you how bad Denerim smells if you can have a dead guy in the back of your house for who knows how long and nobody notices. But while rooting around, we find clues pointing us to a place called Haven. It's way out here in the boonies, even by Ferelden standards. The guard at the village entrance is unfriendly, even by guard standards, and he's never heard of a brother Genetivi.
Perhaps revered Father Eirik will know of whom you speak. Unfortunately, he's ministering to the villagers at the moment and cannot be disturbed.
Revered father? I've never heard of this.
Must be one of those hippie offshoots where the priests are of both genders and the communion wafers are replaced with tofu. Nah, we're in the sticks. We're going to run into some kind of creepy-ass Deliverance meets the Wicker Man thing, I'm sure. Yep, we poke around a bit in one of the nearby shots, and we discover a dead knight. These cultists just can't be bothered to put their murder victims away when they're done with them.
Interesting strategy. Tell me, do you intend to keep going north until it becomes south and attack the Archdemon from the rear? Oh? Are we in some hurry? I ask your pardon, then. It seemed to me as though we were in the midst of aimlessly climbing a mountain in the middle of nowhere. The Archdemon is our goal, and we are heading away from it to find the charred remnants of a dead woman. You haven't thought this through. The Blight. How will you end it? Is that all? It is surrounded by an ocean of Darkspawn. How will you reach it?
Sten is the Zalbar of Dragon Age, the giant outsider whose heritage means much to him, so that when he's ostracized from that, he is no longer complete as a person. We picked him up in that cage for slaughtering innocent farmers. Over time, he finally explains what happened. He and his comrades were sent to Ferelden to learn what the Blight was for the Arishok. One night, they were ambushed by Darkspawn while camping near Lake Calenhad. Now, the Darkspawn were wiped out, but only Sten survived, and he was knocked out. When he was rescued, he learned that his sword was gone.
That sword was made for my hand alone. I have carried it from the day I was set into the Beresad. I was to die wielding it for my people. Even if I could cross Ferelden and Tevinter unarmed and alone to bring my report to the Arishok, I would be slain on sight by the Antam. They would know me as soulless, a deserter. No soldier would cast aside his blade while he drew breath.
While the loss of the blade means he can't go home, what shames him is not the loss of the blade, but that he lost control. Like Zalbar, he lashed out in a blind rage like an animal and carried the shame of that act ever since. His fight against the Darkspawn is an attempt at atonement, but he can never go home without his sword, so that atonement is all he has now. That's why he's so annoyed with diversions from our ultimate goal and thinks Tim is callow. Over time he changes that opinion. Indeed, the way to gain Sten's respect is to be willing to stand up to him. But when we learn what happened, we do our best to make things right. We return to Lake Calenhad, and a scavenger puts us on the trail of a guy named Farron, a little weasel who picked the area clean.
I don't know what you mean, sir. I don't have it, I swear by Andraste's knickers. I sold it on the way here. It's true. Maker, please, you have to believe me. If I had it, I'd give it to you. I sold it to a dwarf in Redcliffe, name of Dwin.
Well, shit. Dwin did us a solid helping defend Redcliffe. I hate to go back and demand the sword from the guy, but Sten obviously needs it more than he does.
Now, why would you be interested in that?
It's mine.
You know, Farron didn't mention the giant he took it from was alive.
We give him 2 sovereigns for his trouble, and Sten is truly changed by this. Not just because he can go home now, but because having that sword makes him complete.
Yes, it is good to have my sword at my side again. I call her Asala, the soul, my soul. She is forged from rare blue steel and has served me faithfully for many years. Yes, you understand what it is like to have a weapon that is part of you. Few others do.
And this is the point when he begins to respect Tim as a leader and warrior.
Are you sure you are a Grey Warden? I think you must be an Ashkari to find a single lost blade in a country at war. My sword is in my hand again. I should put it to use. And I could deliver a much more satisfying answer to the Arishok's question if the Blight were ended. Don't you agree?
Hence why, even though he objects to this detour into the mountains, he will follow Tim so long as he's certain that it's what's necessary. He doesn't approve of Ferelden, its people, its smell.
Ferelden smells of wet dogs.
Yeah, we get that a lot. But he will end the Blight here to make amends for what he has done, and because he has truly learned to respect his leader.
I have done nothing. You have carried us this far. Do not doubt that. Be careful, Kadan. I have spoken my mind. Let us waste no more time here.
We are on the right track with this, though, as we discover upon arriving at the Chantry. The revered father is not dressed like a priest. Those are mage's robes, and he's carrying a staff. A mage priest? I mean, that's a contradiction in terms, like a rabbi who's a witch or something. His welcoming manner evaporates quickly when he learns that we know their secret.
This, my brothers, is what happens when you let an outsider into the village. They have no respect for our privacy.
I may be a murderer, but at least I'm not a snoop. As expected, the cultists soon attack, but we make short work of them. For all the effort, these guys usually wind up being people who aren't even sure they're holding the weapon the right way around. They expect to win through sheer force of numbers and divine intervention. Well, guys, the Lord helps those who help themselves, and I am the king of self-help books. When it's finished, we look around a bit, and sure enough, there's a secret passage to a room containing one Brother Genetivi. Are you okay?
What do you think? Weeks of scant food and water, the torture.
Oh, I've never felt better. Wait, please. The weeks I've spent here have made me crotchety. I apologize.
That's better. Leave it to me. I sarcasm for a living. Wynne, why don't you take a look at Friar Schmuck here and see if you can get him back on his feet. When she gets him patched up a little, he gives us the good news.
Haven lies in the shadow of the mountain that holds the urn. There is an old temple there built to protect it. The door is always locked, but I know what the key is. Iric wears a medallion that opens the temple door. I've seen what he does with it. Yes, that is your key.
See, looting bodies is the foundation of RPG mechanics. I mean, that's why Mass Effect 2 had a few outspoken complaints. Is it really an RPG if I don't rifle through the pockets of people I've killed? Anyway, do you know what's up with these cultists?
They must be here to protect the urn, but they speak of Andraste as though she was still alive.
Huh. Do they try to glue the ashes back together or something? When you're intent on protecting someone's dead body, that should be a sign to you that they're not alive anymore. I mean, not unless time travel is involved, and this doesn't look like Nirn, does it? Well, I'm sure we'll find out once we reach the temple. Let's get moving, Tiny Tim, and we've got a mountain to climb here.